The eye of prudence may never be shut. This is a quote from Waldo Emerson. If you woke up one morning to your city in complete chaos, what would you do? This was the reality for one morning a man named Aeneas. A string of careless decisions can lead to even a great city's demise. Carelessness is the fact or quality of being said or done thoughtlessly or negligently. This story begins after many years of fighting between the Greeks and the Trojans. Both sides of the war were exhausted, and it seemed to the Trojans that the Greeks had left, leaving a peace offering in the form of a large wooden horse. A man by the name of Theometus said, "Drag it inside the walls." However, many, including prophets and those with less impulsive minds, guessed that it was a trap sent by the Greeks to defeat them. A man in shackles had been captured by the Trojans and had had plans to open the gates of Troy for the Greeks. Hearing this, they mocked the man. His story was told to the king in great detail, and by the end of this, he was given pity and won his life. This was their first miscalculation towards their downfall. A prophet by the name of Laocoon read omens which told him to raise a spear at the horse's side. So he threw a spear, but it did nothing. The goddess Athena was enraged at what he had done. So a gruesome fate awaited this prophet, terrible and fatal. Twin sea serpents plunged towards the shore, blood-red crests surging over the waves, their eyes glinting with fire and blood trickling from their flickering tongues. They headed for Laocoon and his son. They attacked, each one eaten by a different serpent. They believed that the war was over, the people of Troy. They brought the gift horse inside, ignoring the clattering of metal coming from inside the horse. They disregarded the prophet's warnings, took off their armor, and went home to rest. What they did not know, however, was that there were soldiers inside the horse, and that the Greek army was very close by. That night, the soldiers came out of the horse and opened the city gates for the Greek army. Houses burned, Trojans decimated, guards butchered. Troy was devastated. In the midst of this, Aeneas came into the chaos. He witnessed the carnage of the palace and the gruesome murder of his king. After seeing the war and Trojans' destruction, he took his family and made his escape. His father was on his back. He held onto his son's hands and his wife. Unfortunately, during this escape, he got separated from his wife, and unbeknownst to him, she died. After the fall of Troy, he finds the last of the survivors, who he has instated as their ruler. They begin the journey of finding a new home, and at this moment he realizes that his wife is no longer with them. She then visits him in spirit form, giving him her final words. She tells him not to grieve her anymore, as it was decreed by the gods. Aeneas demonstrated the virtue of prudence when he kept a cool head in the fall of Troy. However, the Trojans shut their eyes to prudence and carelessly disregarded the prophet's warnings.